characteristic of our culture, I think, is what I would call psychophobia. We're psychophobic. We're frightened of our own minds, of our own psyches. There is no book going around that is, seems to me, more explicit about this in its own way than DSM-3, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of the American Psychiatric Association, 3rd edition, which is, calls itself a compendium of criteria of mental disorder that lists any unusual perceptual experience is a criteria of mental disorder. Any unusual perceptual experience. Sixth sense, clairvoyance, telepathy. Others can feel my feelings. I feel the presence of a dead, or a force of presence of a dead person in the room with me who's not there. You're allowed to do that for 3 weeks after your mother dies. After that, it is criteria of mental disorder. So what seems to there be proposed is a massive project of homogenizing experience, where all experience the same thing at the same time. No one's going to be allowed to experience anything different from anyone else. We have the power, the political power, to regard any unusual perceptual experience as combined with one or two other criteria which are not difficult to find, as a token of, for stripping a person of all their civil rights and liberties, virtually, and putting them entirely at the mercy of what we feel is a good thing for us to do for them to behave in the way that we want them to behave, whether they want to or not. I think this is an insufferable gap in the, you might say, ordinary human rights operating at the very heart of our self-styled free society. Really, to be with another person in a completely open-hearted, unguarded way, where one is not on one's own part somehow or other cancelling or changing or altering or modifying who that other person is to suit one's own book. Co-presence, being actually present to each other without reservation, the precondition of something that one might call communion, which I think is the perfection of how we're ordinarily meant to be together. The way that we attend to each other, the way that we treat each other, the way we treat each other is not reified as pills and things as treatment, but the treatment that we give someone is the way we treat that person. It should not be a noun, it should be an active verb. So the way we treat one another is the therapy. Psychotherapy is operating at that very subtle level of co-presence, which is a field effect that happens prior to and behind the actual words actually spoken. If one has been able to cultivate oneself or has got a natural flair for a certain sort of harmless, inviting presence that doesn't offer a threat, it isn't felt as threatening, and it isn't felt as pulling in, it isn't felt as doing anything, as just being, but actively, not sort of just dead, but very vibrant, high energy, just being, very calm, then that is a good state of mind to be in for receiving patients or clients in the course of practicing psychotherapy.